So, hello people, and welcome to this new adventure. This new let's read. Uh, Always complicated. Um, well, this is another visual novel, 1000 Lies. It's free on Steam, so really, just go and read it on your own. Really, you don't need me to read it to you. But still, if you want to keep following through, I'll be reading through it. It's relatively short, I think. I mean, at least my Steam hour record playtime says 11 hours or something. So we'll be at it for a while. And this will be in parallel with the Katawa Shoujo Let's read. So one shouldn't affect the other. So yeah, let's get through it. Much like the origin of our dreams, three youths forged their friendships out of unclear beginnings. The innocence of their childhood souls knew nothing of the ulterior motives that the jaded mind of an adult might have. It's a pity that no decision knows of virtue, a fabrication which lies beyond the chromatic spectrum of consequences that adults insist on simplifying only as either black or white. So they maintain that lies should not be told. Lying is wrong. With empty words, they wage their futile battle against human nature, pretending to know of what they speak. It's ironic how, rather than erasing lies by teaching us not to fabricate falsehoods, we learn to make them better. After all, who honestly seeks the truth? We only open our ears to the confirmations of our biases. And that's strange, because in my opinion, there is no one who is more sincere with their words than the greatest liar of them all. Notes fell readily from my memory and onto the piano keys at my fingertips, recreating the trite sounds of Maestro Debussy's esteemed melody. I played for no attentive listeners, in no grand auditorium. Only one man fell within earshot of my tune. As weak with his words as with his posture, he shifted his eyes about in a mixture of fear and doubt. Even if I were to close my eyes, I could draw his features in the void with nothing more than my memories. Every feature, every pulsing movement, the signs on his face that age had yet to win its long battle against his youth. I can still taste the crisp, bittersweet flavor my mind gave to the air on the day I found him, staring so intently at the starry sky, as if he wanted to leave the rest of the world behind. That infamous night, quietly overseen by Maestro Debussy, will change everything forever. Come on, wanna go see how haunted that mansion really is? The boy could hardly contain his excitement as he spoke. His two friends, his only audience, frowned in response, reluctant to give him their answer. They couldn't be fooled by such superstitions as ghosts, nor were they motivated to spend their time disproving their existence. Yet somehow, they just couldn't find in themselves to say no to their eager friend, perhaps due to his eloquence, or to be frank, his persistence. Their entrance was heralded by abandoned spiderwebs, ramshackle walls, and frayed curtains. Unfortunately, there were no specters to speak of. The boy had little need of his ghosts now, though, for the trembling signs of fear that gripped his friends served more than adequately as his entertainment for the day. So, our intrepid leader took point, leading his exploration party deeper into the dust-veiled interior of the old mansion. He brought his attention to a single book laid atop an aging podium, a sure sign that no pages of content were more worthy of reading than those found within the centerpiece on display. Its words were still legible, if only just, and apart from the rest of its treatise on keeping close relationships unbroken, it offered a dire warning. Desecrating that which does not belong to you will bring nothing but punishment. That which you love will inevitably become the greatest of your fears. When, during the syzygy, 3 elements must become 2, which one will you discard? If it had been a spell from a witch's book, the 3 youths lacked the knowledge to understand it. Nonetheless, They will soon regret having brought life to the words upon the page. From out of the darkness, shackles appeared and bound the three together with unbreakable chains that only they could see, doomed to keep each other's company eternally. Hey, do you think I could learn to play the piano? Are you serious? Why should I bother to teach you? You had more time to learn than I have. No, that's not what I meant. I was just curious. Well, it's a simple question with a long and complicated answer. So here it is. No. What? Why not? Do you really need me to spell it out for you? You're the expert. It shouldn't be hard to tell me what's wrong. What's wrong? Oh, where do I begin? For example, those sausage links you call your fingers. You think there's any instrument that will accommodate you? It sounds like you're just trying to make me go away. I've never heard of anyone not being able to play the piano for such a stupid reason. I suppose that depends on your goals. You can bang away at the keys to your heart's content, for example. You're not very good at this pep talk thing, you know. It was a strange spell which bound the three youths together. Should they try to spread out and seek their own paths, the chains on their legs would grow tighter, keeping them together. But if two of them agreed to stay close to each other, they could grant the third prisoner an extended length of distance. The links in the chains were uninterrupted by obstacles. They only enforced the proximity by which its prisoners must be held. Still, they could find a way to live with their curse, with none but themselves being the wiser to it. And how could anyone believe that three friends have been physically bound by a chain, which eludes the sight of everyone but its prisoners, passes through all obstructions, and is untouchable to anyone else? Under the premise that they used to spend all their time together, none of them thought this incident will harm their lives too much. Using their imaginations, they could manage some way to go on with their lives. In time, a change came upon them. Just as the origins of their friendship remained unclear, so too will it be difficult to pin down just what had kept them united. The light of their childhood innocence would die a slow death, or perhaps even that innocence was another lie, fabricated to disguise their selfishness. These were the thoughts which plagued the leader's mind, as he began to silently observe the faces of the ones he once called his friends, who had now become unrecognizable to him. And unable to find the words to form his apology, he chose to simply run away. Come off it already. You didn't come here for a piano lesson. You got something to say? Spit it out already. But the kid merely choked on his words, unable to force his thoughts into the open air. You don't have to say a thing if you don't want to. You're a grown man, and you can make your own decisions. You don't need me to tell you what to do. Just know that every choice comes with a price. I don't want you to come crying to me later, as if I were responsible for your decisions. Through the corner of my eye, I could see that no amount of shaming language will drive him away. Yet he still milled about in his own indecisiveness. I sighed audibly, making my displeasure with our statu quo abundantly clear. Fine. Do you want to know what made me want to learn how to play the piano? It had been an impromptu change of subject, surprising even myself. I was never one for improvisation. Bringing a clue to the piano's melody, I pushed myself away from the keys. I raised my hands up as if to display them alongside my words. I'll tell you what spurred me on to play this instrument. It was after someone told me the most discouraging thing. That with fingers as thick as mine, I will never be able to play any instrument. So he ran, struggling against his own loss of breath until the cruel chains trailing behind rose up to remind him of their limited length. But that will not stop him. Surrender was beyond his understanding now. No senseless witchcraft would be allowed to outperform his willpower. He didn't care about the blood or the pain. He would keep on running, empowered by his will, even if his leg were to break. The chain stretched with each step, with the metallic echo of the links breaking behind him. Groaning under the pressure, each link in the chain warped and bent to the breaking point, struggling to match the strength of his determination. So it was that the curse vanished into thin air, leaving no trace that it had ever bound anyone together. Only then did he return to his sentence, to senses to find what he had bled and suffered to gain: solitude, in a barren land bereft of his peers. Even his footsteps had vanished in the trail behind him. He was truly alone. Never again would he be able to find the important people he had lost.